Hey guys, welcome to a new video in this computer vision tutorial. In this video here, I'm going to show you how we can set up OpenCV with GPU support for Visual Studio 2019. So in the previous videos, we have been we've been installing OpenCV from the source files and with GPU support. So we have both installed Cuda and we've configured OpenCV with GPU support by using CMake. So I've already went over those videos, so make sure to check those videos out. And in this video here, we're just going to use what we have already installed and built from the OpenCV source files, and then we're going to set it up here in Visual Studio Code so we can actually use it in our program with C++. But first of all, remember to join the Discord server. I'll link to it down in the description here, and you can join the channel, chat with us about computer vision, deep learning, AI, and so on. You can also become a member of the channel here if you want to support the channel more than you're currently doing with a small monthly fee, and everything will go to create more and better quality content here on the channel. So thank you guys. So first of all, here we'll go into the file explorer here to actually see where we've installed and built OpenCV library with the GPU support. So first of all, here we're just going to this PC here, my local disk, and then inside my user directory here. So now we can go down here and actually see where we have installed and built our OpenCV source files with the GPU support. So we've both done it for Python and C++, and actually when we're using C++, we can both use the build version with both Python and C++. But in this example here, I'm just going to do it with the folder that I created in the C++ video. So again, if you haven't seen that video and you want to know how we can install and build the source files with CMake from the source files with GPU support, make sure to check those videos out. I'll link to them up here somewhere, and you go check those out, and then you can come into this video here, see how you can set it up in Visual Studio 2019. So first of all, here we're just going to this folder here with OpenCV, and then we can just go up to this build folder here where we actually have all our binary files that we got from actually generating the binaries from CMake and then installing OpenCV with GPU support here on our computer. Then we can actually just make sure here that we have all of these different kind of for example, the installation here. We can go inside the installation, x64 architecture here, and then VC16 version here of our OpenCV. And then when we go into here, we can see that we both have this bin and library folder here, and we need those here to actually be able to link to the OpenCV library here in Visual Studio. So first of all, here we need to make sure that we're actually linking, or we actually have this path here in our environmental variables. So first of all, here we will open up the our environment variables here, and we need to make sure that inside of this path here we actually have this directory here, or the path to the directory here for our bin folder in OpenCV. So here we just go up here and we click a new one here, and then we just type in this path here. So in my example here, I have it in my C directory, or on my C drive, and then I have it in my own user directory, and then we have this OpenCV folder that I just showed you. We went into the build folder and in this install folder, and then into the x64 architecture that I showed you, and then the VC16 version of OpenCV, and then we're going to take the path here to the bin folder in this example here. So when you have added this environmental variable here, we just hit OK, OK, and OK here. And now we have actually all the different kind of things that we need in our environmental variables. So now we can actually open up Visual Studio here and then create a new project and link to the different kind of OpenCV libraries and directories that we have actually built and installed on our computer. So here we're just going to create a new project here that we can actually set up. So I'm just going to create this empty project here, and we're just going to take this console labs here. So we actually have a program that prints out hello world by default. So we're just going to hit next here, and then we're going to have it a name here. So in this example, we're just going to have OpenCV GPU YouTube. And now we're just going to create this project here. So we just have a project from scratch here. So now we're opening up a new project here in Visual Studio, and we can just go up here and right click on our project, and then we can go down to the properties where we're actually going to specify the different kind of directories for the include files and also the library files, and also link to the actual OpenCV files or files as well, and the libraries. So we go down here to the properties, and then first of all here we need to go into the VC++ directories here, and then we need to go up to the include directories because we actually need to include the path for our OpenCV. So we go in here and actually hit this edit button here, and then we can see that we need to specify in this in my user directories, and then in the folder where we have actually built the source files from OpenCV. Then we need to go into the build one, and then we need to go into the include files, and this include file here is actually inside the install file. So I'm just going to specify that here. Install and then include, because if we're going to the directory here again in our C drive, in my local file here and users, and we go into my local here, we go down to OpenCV, and then we're going to the build. Then we can see that we have actually this include here, but we need to go into this install where we actually installed OpenCV on our computer with GPU support. So we're going to this install file here, and then we can see we have this include folder here, which is actually like the include folder that we need to link to, or like we need to specify in this include directories here. So when we've done that here, we can just press OK. And then we need to go down here to the library directories, and then we need to specify where our library files are for OpenCV. So we just go in here and we hit edit, and then we just specify the path here to the actual like library file here. And again, we're inside the build folder and the installation folder, and then our architecture on our computer. And then we have the version here of OpenCV toward VC16 here. And then we specify the path here for our library files that we have in this path here. So in the environmental variables, we specify the bin folders, but inside of the project properties here, we're going to specify where the library files are for OpenCV. Now we're going to just hit OK here again, and we hit apply. So we actually like just apply these things here to our project. So the last thing here that we need to do is that we go down to the linker here and actually like link the library files, or like a library file from OpenCV to our project here. So when we run our program, we can actually like use the methods and stuff like that from OpenCV. So down here in the linker, we go down to the input here, and then we just need to specify the OpenCV world file up here in the additional dependencies. So if we just go up here again and hit edit, we need to specify this OpenCV_world, and then the version of OpenCV that we are running on. In this case here, I have installed and built OpenCV from the source files with this version here, so 4.5.2. And then we don't have a D here because we're going to run this program here in release mode instead of debug mode. And then we have this lib file here, so we actually like have this additional dependency, which is the library file for OpenCV that we're going to link to here in this in the properties here. So now we have actually like everything set up. We both have the additional dependencies, and we also have the directories for our include directory and also for our library directories here as well. So now we have everything set up here in the properties, and we can then just hit OK down here. We need to go up here to the top and make sure that we're in release mode instead of debug mode, which is default when we just open up a new project here in Visual Studio. And then we also need to specify the architecture here. So instead of x86 here, which is the default, we choose this x64 here because this is the version that we have built and installed OpenCV on. So now we both have release here, and we have the architecture here, which is x64. Then we can just copy a small program sample here, so we can actually like just print out the information about the Cuda, the device that we have actually connected to a computer, and we're going to include the different kind of like OpenCV 2 modules that we can then use later on. So I'm just going to copy this code in here, and I'll link to it down in the description in my GitHub. So you can just go to my GitHub, copy paste the same code here, and see if it works in Visual Studio Code, or like not Visual, only in Visual Studio here on your computer. So first of all here, we're just going to include IOStream as usual when we use C++. And then we're going to include OpenCV 2 here, and then the DNN module that we're going to use throughout other tutorials here on this channel here. We're going to use the neural network module that we have with OpenCV for neural network inference. And then we're just going to include the OpenCV here with the improc and the hide UI. And then we have IOStream here again, which we should not have. And then we're going to include the core here of Cuda as well. So this is actually like where the Cuda functions are that we're going to use here. And in this example here, we're just going to print out the Cuda device info that we have on the 0th element because I only have one GPU here connected to my computer. And then we're just going to use these namespaces here, so we don't have to type out a CV : Cuda to be able to run this function here. So now we can see that we don't get any errors here. We don't get any red lines under any of these include directories here, and also this print Cuda device info here. We can actually like find that methods in the modules that we have from OpenCV in our source files. So now we can just go up here to the Windows and local Windows debugger, and we can just run this program here and see the information here about our Cuda device that we have connected to our computer. So if we go up here, we can actually like see the different kind of information that we also got in the previous videos where we installed and built the OpenCV source files with GPU support from scratch with CMake. So we get the exact same information here because this is just to verify that this actually like works. And in this video here, I just wanted to show you how we can set this OpenCV with GPU support up here in Visual Studio, where in the other videos I set it up for C++ in Visual Studio Code, and I set it up in Python for Visual Studio Code as well. So it's just to show you guys like how we can use different kind of IDEs and text editors with OpenCV with GPU support as well, both for Python and C++. So we can see here that we get the device count here, which is 1, and we have the device 0 here because I only have one GPU, and we can even see the name here of the GPU. So I have an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 with 6 GB of RAM. And then we also get some other different kind of information here about our GPU. So now we can actually like verify that we have set up OpenCV with GPU support here in Visual Studio, and then we can use all the different kind of methods from this core CUDA module here, and then we can actually use CUDA to do neural network inference in this DNN module here as well. So we can do a lot of different kind of cool things with GPU support for OpenCV, and it's really fast and efficient when we're running our methods and programs and algorithms with GPU instead of CPU, and it's up to 10 to 20 times faster. So we're going to create some really nice and cool videos where we're going to test how fast the GPU is actually is, and we're going to create some programs where I'm going to show you like how we can actually use the GPU and this CUDA module here in OpenCV. So thank you guys for watching this video here, and remember to hit the subscribe button and bell notification under the video here, and also like the video if you like the content and you want more in the future. I'm currently doing a deep learning tutorial where we're talking about like how we can create neural networks from scratch. We go over the basic stuff about neural networks, we train it on a data set, and then we do an inference, or we're trying to do predictions on data or like images that the neural network hadn't seen before. Then we're going to combine this computer vision tutorial with deep learning. We're going to use the DNN module here in OpenCV to actually like run neural network inference on GPU. So we combine all the different kind of things that we went over in all the tutorials throughout this channel here. So it's going to be really nice and really cool, and we're going to create some really nice applications. So I'm going to link to the deep learning tutorial up here, or else I'll just see you next video, guys. Bye for now.